Hi there, Brandon from Seattle Organic SEO. Today we're going to teach you how to write your title tags and your meta descriptions for pages that you will want to optimize for better SEO on your website, or rather for Google or Bing or any other search engine. So, a lot of people don't know how to actually change page titles and their meta descriptions. And so, we're going to show you some examples here where this may make sense. So, for example, let's say if you were a surgeon in, let's say, Chicago. And so, people might want to look for a Chicago surgeon. This is very general, but let's look. Well, here you can see the local pack come up, and so this won't help us necessarily with titles and meta descriptions, but down here you will see what titles and meta descriptions are for this particular search. So here is the title of this website, and it actually has surgeon in it. It's actually highlighted surgeon surgery, and then Chicago, so Chicago surgery. And so frankly, in the title it basically exists, and here in the meta description. Well, we're not here to talk about where it is, but we're here to try to figure out how to model our pages after these. So you can see here in these examples, there's not a ton of surgeons that actually show up, but here is your first doctor or surgeon that does show up, David Schifrin, MD, Chicago plastic surgeon. Now, I am trying to show up in Chicago, and now I see a model right here. There's also another doctor here, female plastic surgeon, Chicago, Illinois, Lori Cobbins, MD. And frankly, she shows up as well. So that is another example. Now, what I would do is I would literally open up a Word doc and try to mimic these or study them and then model my page after that. Okay, so that is the first thing that I would do to get an idea of how to title my page. But that's just one DMA. Does Chicago represent the whole United States? I would say not. And do note that down below you can see this is actually from Issaquah, Washington, not Chicago. So this is not necessarily what's showing up in their local area. So what I like to do is I like the Brickle local tool, which allows you to see, frankly, in the local area, what people are seeing. So here, it's not here. Let's see, Bright Local tool. There it is. Local search results checker. You might want to look that up. And so Chicago surgeon, and we'll do it from Chicago. And do think about this because it's actually not going to be Chicago surgeon, all right? And we'll talk about that here in a second. But Chicago surgeon in Chicago. Let's see what comes up. So actually, it's interesting that Florence Musset comes up that we saw earlier. David Schifrin does show up, so he's still pretty solid, so I'd copy that down. Lori Cobbins shows up actually a little bit higher. And there's maybe another group that shows up. So anyway, copy these in a Word doc or a Google doc. Let's do that. Let's just show it how I would do it. So I just open up a Google doc, and I would literally do it in Word or a Google doc. And frankly, I would just take the top results and put them in that Google doc. And I might identify, frankly, where they sit. So I might put like number 3 for, or I might even title it something like Chicago surgeon, and then number 3. And then I'd go back into the SERP, the search engine results page, and I would do this, copy this one, which is number 4. And I'm not being precise here, just as a heads up. And the next one is actually an aggregator, but this is actually a specific surgeon. And so maybe I'd get the top 3 results in a few different cities. So I'd go back in here, Chicago surgeon, and this is what I meant by this is not necessarily the right term. I think they would actually type in surgeon in Chicago. And let's see what comes up here. Close that one out. And see what does show up. It's a very general SERP. So it doesn't necessarily bring up individuals, but still it might. And so that's what I would do to actually look this up. See, it actually looks up specifics, and that's what people probably want: general surgeon, orthopedic surgeon, maybe even surgeon doctor, or maybe plastic surgery. So anyway, give it a look and check it out in various areas. But what I'm trying to say here is not only make sure you think like a local searcher, but make sure you test it out in different areas. So let's say we were in Atlanta. So let's go Atlanta surgeon, Atlanta, Georgia, and then let's see what shows up. So here, Atlanta surgeon. So here in my little document, I might type in Atlanta surgeon. And then let's look through the results of this SERP, and we see it's a lot of ads, which is kind of interesting. But here, double board certified Atlanta plastic surgeon Dr. Alan Larson rather. So that guy is number 1 organically, number 1. Put that in here. And then Amy Alderman, let's put her in here as well. By the way, I didn't copy this on the other side, but these are actually going to be influenced by schema. But that's for another day. We'll talk about schema and rich snippets and all that good stuff at some other point. So that's number 2. And then, again, this is an aggregator. So let's, here we go. Here's another one. And this is very interesting. This person actually used a lot of schema and was able to leverage. And we'll copy that in just for later reference. But you'll notice that that is number 4 or so, because we had a health, number 4. And so we have a few different examples. So I would go through all these different examples in different areas and then use these as models. Do note that this character limit is 55 to 65 characters, and that the meta description is 150 to about 160 characters. So use Microsoft Word or anything that does a count. So I would go through each of these different areas, look at them for models, and then sculpt what might make sense to me. And it's hard to say, but what I can say is that what's showing up is the city surgeon in this particular situation. But I will tell you this: it's best to have your brand name, typically, colon, and then what you're trying to show up for or identify that. So maybe if I was in one other city, let's go Nashville, Tennessee surgeon. But I might not put Tennessee because perhaps I am in Tennessee and I don't need someone to tell me what state I'm in. So Nashville surgeon, maybe serving the Tennessee, I don't even know how to spell it, patients, something like that. But patients, is that a keyword that a patient would type in? I don't know, but that's something to kind of consider. So Nashville surgeon serving Tennessee patients. But what about some qualifiers like top or number 1? I don't know. I would say saying number 1 is very dangerous because you might need to back that up. But top is a relative term. So maybe top would be good. But again, it's up to you because you have to be very efficient within this space. So that's what I would do for the title. Now, for the meta description, I would try to leverage other things, like other keywords and other things that people are searching for. So this is where we need to use a keyword tool. So what I would recommend is jumping into Google Ads Keyword Planner. That's probably your best tool that exists. And I would actually try to go in and find some ideas or a set of ideas that relate to, frankly, your business. And so, or at least what you're trying to search for. So you go into the Keyword Planner, which is usually in Tools here in Google Ads. This is a master account for an agency that we run, and so you'll see something a little bit different. But let's just jump into a specific account, and this is what kind of view you'll have. You will need to have an active account, just as a heads up. So please note that you won't get the same exact data if you are in an inactive account. But let's look at Chicago surgeon. Let's see what else. Top Chicago surgeon. What else would we search? Chicago surgeon near me. Maybe surgeon near me. best surgeons in Chicago. Some, ideas. We call these seed keywords. And you can do up to 10 of them, but I just put in 5, and they'll also give you other ideas. But it'll give you a lot of different phrases and their volume. So now you'll know that there's other terms that you can actually put in there, like general. So maybe in your meta description, you might put general surgeon serving. We already put serving. So general surgeon, board certified, or board certified might be something that we put in the front. Board certified general surgeon, located in, let's say, Nashville downtown, or maybe the hospital, Nashville's Premera Blue Cross. Let's see, Nashville hospital. I don't know, but anyway, located in Nashville's Premera Blue Cross. What other information would we want? Let's say what kind of which kind of specialties. So here it doesn't really say ortho, but the word doctor. So maybe board certified general surgeon located in Nashville's Premera Blue Cross. Doctor of medicine. Maybe we would want to identify the medical school. So graduated with honors with or doctorate of medicine from Harvard Medical School. Graduated with honors, doctor of medicine. Anyway, do you get what I'm doing? I'm trying to use some terms that also indicate or help in terms of what people would want to see. Maybe even a phone number like 808-243-66 or 2211, open 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily. These are certain terms that might make sense when they see it in here in the SERPs. But you can also, like I say, get other ideas. See, this person said located in Buckhead near Atlanta. This says 20 years ago. So use these as references in order to build each of these pages. What I would also recommend is jumping into the page and then seeing what kind of detail or information exists to see what this is actually representing. Because the page really does kind of depend. So in this particular site, which is relatively optimized, you can see that they have certain pages like facials. And so go into each of these pages and then see Latisse. You can see that they have semantically friendly URLs. You will see in their title, yep, there you go, Latisse in Atlanta, Georgia, Alpharetta, Body Aesthetics. You can also look at their page source information, and then when you do, you can just search for Control F, and then maybe you would look for their title where it exists. You might want to look at their description. So there you go. And so look at this information if it's not intuitive. And then again, use this information or modeling in your efforts to sculpt the perfect title. So I would grab this title information perhaps, copy it over here, and oops, didn't grab all the information it looks like. But, just grab that part right there because I'm moving kind of too fast for these guys, it looks like. And so there you go. There you see the title. And then maybe I would look at the meta description, grab that information here. And then once you have all these details, you can kind of just use these as references. And as you do, you will be able to kind of model after that. So what I'm doing is literally I'm looking at a lot of different examples that exist in the top of each of these search results. And after I see them, I just kind of aggregate them and compare. And then ultimately, I'm able to write my own proper title and meta description for all my different pages because I'm just using different models. And again, it's not a bad idea to go and look in Google Ads in terms of their keyword planner to see which terms are a little bit more popular and or at least have some inventory, because top Chicago surgeon doesn't necessarily have a lot of searches, or Chicago surgeon near me. This is United States, so maybe we need to shift it to Chicago, which is one thing I did not do. And you can see there's two different areas. Nielsen, which usually is a broader selection, so I do that a lot. And then once you get very focused, they do have surgeon near me, not necessarily a Chicago surgeon near me, which proves to me that, and something that I would know from my own industry is that people don't just add Chicago when they're in Chicago, right? They just search surgeon near me instead. But these give you a lot of ideas and the keywords and their volume. And then again, maybe even type or copy this information in here to give you a better reference. And, as you do all of this, you can kind of sculpt and figure out the proper title and meta description. Do you see what I do? This is the kind of stuff I do for each and individual page for a client. And I've just literally spent 16 minutes describing it, and I haven't even done 1/3 of what I typically do for each page. Now you know why I get paid the big bucks. I'm just kidding. But in all honesty, this is a lot of hard work, and this is not necessarily something for novices or amateurs. This is something for literally people who are very serious. But just in case you are, and you are serious enough to listen to what I say, I think you can leverage this information and build out the right titles and meta descriptions for whatever you do on your website. But that's kind of the process that I use. I might have went a little too fast. I'm not sure if I provided all the details that you might want, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of a guide or understanding on how to sculpt your title and meta description. For more, just let me know. Email us at hello@Seattle Organic SEO. And if you don't want to do all this hard work for each of the different pages, we're obviously available to help you out. And once you email again at hello@SeattleOrganicSEO.com, reach out to us and we'll be happy to take care of this work for you and then build out the proper titles and meta descriptions. All right, hope that was elucidating and didactic in the various ways that it will help you optimize your SEO for Google, Bing, and or Yahoo.